Hey everybody, welcome to Montana Musings. The other day I was going through my newsletter. I'm a member of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. I was going through my newsletter and came across an article talking about the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation actually donating money towards the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Oregon Shooting Sports Foundation, I think, is what the organizations were. But in their battle against that ballot measure for 114, and if any of you know about it or have been paying attention to it, it's been blocked by the court as being so far unconstitutional, and the Oregon Supreme Court upheld that lower court decision. But I've often asked myself the question, we have a lot of pro 2A groups that are fighting against all this unconstitutionality that's some of these states keep throwing at gun owners, and so I've always wondered, well, what are the hunting organizations and things like that doing as well? I mean, we need to all gather our resources from all the organizations to fight this. And I was happy to hear or to read that the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation had threw their hat in the ring on this thing in when they filed their amicus brief. And so if any of you have questions about that and what your local group is doing, if they just don't like to be political or whatever, I think it's important to know that there's a lot of money that is on the anti-gun side. And so basically we have these few groups that collect money from dues and donations that are fighting the battle for us, and so we need to support them. And I would just like to give a shout out to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation for doing just that. And so if you have, if you're not familiar with them, they're obviously their name says it all. Basically, they have gone around and they do banquets. That was one of the problems with this 114 is you wouldn't be able to do banquets because a lot of the prizes are firearms, and would have thrown a big monkey wrench into that situation. So, but they're they're a great organization. They've just started a herd of elk in, I believe it was Kentucky or Tennessee. It might have been both lately. And of course, it's been years since they've had anything like that there. So there's, like all big organizations, that nothing's perfect, but as long as they're doing good and especially with the gun rights thing, that's obviously important to me, but also for elk and elk habitat and creating opportunities for hunters. And so if you're inclined to, and you're out here in the western part, and I think obviously Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation's growing because they're moving stuff further east. So join them and go to these banquets and support them. We're having one coming up in Cut Bank here where I'm at, coming up in March. So and I think there's one in Missoula in April. They're all over the place. Just go to their website and you can click on, like this one, you can click on their things that we do tab, and there's a bunch of articles that are, go through all the things that they have accomplished and maybe even what they'd like to accomplish. So but my thing is make sure and you support the groups that are supporting you with our hunting rights, gun rights, all of those things, because we're up against a lot of money and a lot of big influencers. So like I say, I'm giving a shout out to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and thank them for doing what they're doing. And let's get out there and support the people who support us. And so until next time, I just wanted to make this a kind of a point to everybody. And until next time, hopefully we'll be doing some shooting. So Thanks again, and we'll be talking to you soon.